What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another broadcast here for Fast Break here for Sports Radio. Your Detroit Sports. D-Locke, I know we missed this past Sunday show, but the playoffs is hot and going right now. Your Orlando Magic is playing right now. How you think they're going to fare for the rest of tonight?
It's looking pretty interesting right now. I mean, in a close game, Tobias just went up there. Pistons on an 11-0 run. The Magic got to get to it. We'll see how it goes, but it's a close game.
So lots to talk about tonight, lots to get into. A lot of coaching changes happening around the league. Doc Rivers gone, Steve Kerr possibly gone, Billy Donovan gone. Who else is on the chopping block as well? So lots to talk about, lots to get into. The Lakers up 2-0. Does Phoenix have a chance in the series against OKC? Lots of things to dive into. But this is Fast Break here, live for Ice West Radio, Rudy for Sports, and we'll catch you on the other side.
Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in with us. Sorry we missed you this past Sunday. Things happen, life happens, but we're back in the fold of things. Possibly doing 2 shows in a week. We'll see. We'll see how things play out and stuff like that. All that good jazz. D-Locke, how you doing tonight, sir?
Pretty good. I mean, Magic could be. The Pistons are definitely on the run right now, so we got to see how that's gonna play a part. But not bad. I mean, right now, Desmond Bain needs to wake up a little bit when the Carter's in foul trouble. But things are not too bad. Ben Carroll was trying to show that he is the star on this team. see where we can go for it.
Yeah. Right now, you just go ahead and dive in and talk about the Magic Pistons real quick.
Oh yeah, I mean, right now that first game was a big shocker. You know what I mean? A lot of people probably wasn't expecting the Magic to win, and not only win but win by 10. You know what I mean? They went out there and got a good win. The person that probably was missing that played a huge part in this game was Jalen Duren. He didn't have an explosive game, so Wendell Carter played pretty good. Also, another person that played pretty well was Jalen Suggs, and he's following up game 2 with a good win right now. A good game, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. So he's doing his thing. Another thing, like I said, Ben Carroll is showing that he's the leader and the captain of this team. He's playing extremely well. But who's also following up, who's having a stud series so far, is the one and only Cade Cunningham. I believe he had 39 points the last game. He's starting off with 20 now. He's trying to keep his team in the loop, you know what I'm saying, try to get this dub, because if they go down 0-2, they're in some big trouble. So I would expect Orlando to continue fighting back. Tobias is trying to do things as well. But this looks like a good game. It could be a good series, especially if, actually Orlando has done their job by getting one game. If they can grab another one and go back to Orlando with a 2-0 lead, the Pistons might need to watch out.
Yeah, I mean, they were tied at halftime, but now the Pistons has come out like gangbusters in the second half. Orlando has taken a timeout. Detroit's up 64-49 right now. Cade Cunningham has 20 points, 6 assists thus far. Tobias Harris, 12 points for him, 7 rebounds for the veteran forward. And then nobody really off the bench for the Pistons doing too much. I mean, Isaiah Stewart has 4 points. LeVert has 4 points on those side of things. But, before we got in the air, I'd say, they got to slow down Cade. If they can slow him down just a little bit more, not let those other guys kind of get off, I think Orlando Magic can get the upset, go up 2-0, and come back down to Orlando, possibly, at worst, split that series down Orlando. And now you're putting J.B. Bickerstaff, that group, in position hey, okay, young group, what y'all got for us? We got you on the hole. Can you come out of this hole?
Right.
Or are y'all kind of at least a year or 2 away, showing us that you can be, overcome this huge obstacle in your young careers. So this series is going to be very interesting. And now Detroit's up by 20 right now. After another shot by Sir Thompson making the dunk. So your thoughts? They're up down by 20. Do you see them making a comeback in this game?
I think this game is going to get interesting. I think Wendell Carter being in foul trouble is going to play a huge role. Him playing good last game on the defensive side on Duren played a huge role, but now obviously in foul trouble now, Duren being a little bit more physical, them up by 20. They're going to fight back, but I believe, like I said, I think you're going to need your other guys to step up. So Anthony Black is going to have to come in, off the bench, play a pretty decent role. Goga's going to have to come in now, get some minutes. Possibly Wagner's brother probably is going to come in, but we'll see. But being the fact that I think that's Wagner's 5th foul, that they're reviewing it right now, it could be a possible flagrant. But the Pistons came out with that energy the third quarter, like you said, not only on the offensive side, but on the defensive side. Right now, the Magic only scored 5-6 points in the third quarter. So, and when that happens, Cade Cunningham is starting to cook, right? So it's not looking good right now, but they can kind of turn things around, kind of chop this lead down to maybe 13, moving forward. They may have an opportunity, but they got to get going. Right now, the Pistons are starting to cook up. Duncan Robinson is starting to wake up. I think he's had made at least 3 threes tonight. Just made 2 within the past maybe a couple minutes. So they're starting to try to pull away and show why they're the number 1 seed.
I'll say this: Franz Wagner. I had him on my fantasy basketball team this year. I can't say how much of a disappointment I've been with him this year. The injuries, sometimes the inconsistency, stuff like that. I think the Magic want to come back and win the game. He's got to wake up.
Yes.
He's got to wake up. 4 points for him. You know, he got 5 rebounds, but there's 4 points. Hasn't shot the ball much. You're not helping out the squad. And then, like you mentioned, about Wendell Carter, 5 fouls already. And Wendell Carter came out. He played great down the stretch Sunday.
Right.
In that win. I was like, you know, once again, Wendell Carter comes up. We need to and kind of helps seal the victory for the Orlando Magic. Now he got 5 fouls. He's basically out the game.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Big time.
So hopefully the bench big men, De Silva, Goga, those guys can step up and get some quality minutes and kind of chip away this lead. I like the chances, but right now, you know, Duran, he got 10 points now. Cunningham 20. You know, Tobias now on the floor at the moment. So, I mean, we'll see how things shake out for this game. Any last words before we move on?
Well, I mean, right now, like I said, this team is not bad, but the Pistons are starting to wake up. I think Wendell Carter's aggressiveness not being there, not playing the role. Jalen Duran just got an and one. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he's starting to wake up and be physical. So we'll see. They go up by 30 now. Obviously, it's a different thing. But if the Magic can kind of battle back, kind of get into the game, I think they might have a chance to try to do something in this fourth quarter. But they're starting to get pretty sloppy. That run is starting to show big time of what's going to happen moving forward. But they got to get going.
So we'll come back to this game, you know, right now, Detroit's up 73-49. So we'll come back and pop in and out the game and see if anything changes or the Magic close the gap or anything like that. D-Locke, last night, the Lakers went up 2-0 against the Houston Rockets.
Right.
2-0 late into the night. And my time at 12:45, you at 1:45. If you stayed up that late, they won 101-94 on NBC. LeBron James led the way, 28 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Only 3 turnovers for him. Marcus Smart had a hell of a game, 25 points.
Yeah.
5 for 7 for 3-point land, 7 assists, 5 steals. Luke Kennard, another 20-point game, 23 points for him, 3 for 6 for 3-point land, 3 steals for him as well. D-Locke, the Lakers held Kevin Durant to 3 points in the second half to kind of help things along the way. The Rockets are down 0-2.
Mm-hmm.
What can Houston do to kind of tie this series up at 2-2?
I'm starting to think that this when we talk about home court advantage, I think that's a real thing. Luka's not there. Neither is Austin Reeves. I think this team should being up 0-2 against the Houston Rockets team, who we have going pretty high, is a big time shocker. Kevin Durant coming back he played a big role. He got out hot. He started out hot. But this Lakers team is led by a leader, a big-time leader, and one LeBron James. In my opinion, you're going to have to get Sengun started. We haven't seen DeAndre Ayton literally all year long really play that physical, but the past couple games, he's been playing very physical. He's been, grabbing boards and doing more than he's been doing. So, to me, this team needs to get their main guys going. The question that we talked about earlier is obviously with Fred VanVleet getting hurt early. Now you needed that point guard, but now, can Amen Thompson, Reed Shepherd, can these guys come in Holiday? Can these guys come and fill that role? And right now, it isn't happening. You let Luke Kennard kind of do what he wants. Hachimura kind of do what he wants. These guys are kind of doing exactly what they want, and it's playing a huge role, right? So to me, in my opinion, get your guys going. Go deep in that bench.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. Obviously Durant is going to be Durant, but Tari Eason, Jabari Smith, these guys got to get going. Amen Thompson, they got to get cooking. So to me, they do have a good chance to maybe possibly shock a lot of people. That's what the Lakers are doing. But, I think them having a great leader in LeBron is going to make things very tough for any team that's going to play the Lakers. So, again, I believe we had, like I said, you had them picked early to go pretty far.
Yeah.
And right now, with a Luka-less Laker team, they're facing a LeBron team that, is literally dotting the T's and dotting the I's and crossing the T's and everything they're doing. So at this point, it's very tough for this team to be beaten, but you got to do all the things that you need to be, competitive against this Lakers team. So they got to get right. I mean, I think the first game, getting KD in, getting an opportunity, to get situated, get in the rhythm. We'll see what happens when they go to game 3 in Houston.
Watching that second half is just like, we talked about all year about Houston. If they're something going to, we talked about in the season preview series, something that might bite them in the ass is their point guard situation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of slowly turned its ugly head as the season wore on. Yeah, early season, yeah, cool. Everything's cool. Durant playing well, Sengun playing well, Thompson playing well, all that stuff. Things are cool, but you kind of saw some of the cracks throughout the season. And now you talk about nut country time and the playoffs, stuff like that. And now, just looking right now, I mean, Amen Thompson, yeah, he had 9 assists. Not bad. But you need him to score.
Yes.
He only had like 16 points in 42 minutes of action. He only attempted 1 3-pointer. He should be like getting his points, creating turnovers, defending the best players, stuff like that. Not worry about trying to like handle the ball and all that stuff the majority of the game. That's not his game. And like you mentioned about Fred VanVleet, yeah, I think your season went haywire when he went out with injury.
Mm-hmm.
Even did, you had to find somebody to come in and kind of weather that storm. J.D. Davidson, Holiday, names come up every once in a while and playing, and they don't play that much. And then, watching the game last night, Tari Eason, 4 for 14, and D-Lock, I swear to God, I like every time he touched the ball, he drove the lane. 3 Lakers would be in the paint, and he just throw up anything to hope it goes in.
Right.
I said, dog, what we doing here? Like, what we doing here? So the Houston is not taking advantage of the Lakers side, the lack of defensive presence down low. Luke is not playing. So you're not worried about, 30 points a game right there. Austin Reed's not playing. So you're not worried about 18, 20 points right there.
Right.
So I don't know what you kind of got to do, to kind of adjust things. But, as I think as solid as the coach I think he is, his offensive liability is starting to show as a coach. And yes, having Kevin Durant back, great. But Kevin Durant can only mask so much of y'all issues offensively. And they could sneak a victory next game. But their lineups, they got to figure out the lineups and stuff like that. And I don't think they got the right roster kind of counteract what the Lakers are doing, in my humble opinion. Like you paid Finney Smith a whole bunch of money and you're not playing him.
True.
You paid Clint Capella all that money.
And you're not playing him.
You ain't playing him.
Yeah.
Like you sign him to keep away from the Lakers or whatnot when they trying to sign him, and now he's getting a nice check. So, Reed Shepherd only played 10 minutes. So I don't know where the focus is, what he got to do, but it seems like it's a coaching thing that it could be the Rockets' Achilles heel.
Yeah, I mean, I think in my opinion, this Rockets team who had so many high hopes and expectations kind of should have been dropped down a little bit once Fred VanVleet went down. Because we know what KD is, but also we know the history of KD. He's been to teams where he has literally been the guy that just came in and got you 30 and 6. You know what I mean? He's not a guy that's gonna be that big time leader. He comes in, he fits into what you have, and he's just that X factor. And we see that in Golden State. He got to Golden State, they had the pieces. He just was an add-on to the Steph, the Clay, the Draymond. They didn't have to do anything extra. And with the team that they have now, it's very similar, right? I mean, you had Fred VanVleet, you had Thompson, you had Thompson, you had Baby Joker, as I call him, right? So you had these guys, Jabari Smith, you know what I'm saying? So you had these guys, and all you did was you just added a person that can come in and shoot when you need it. So now you're in the situation where you need him to really come in and take over. And you're going against a team that has that guy that is that leader. We've questioned, if a lot of people say, well, the ring that he won was at Golden State and X, Y, and Z, but KD can't lead a team. And that's what a lot of people question. But his role, and he said it multiple times, he want to come in and just play ball, right? So now you're at this team where they do got a lot of these guys. These other guys got to play well. I mean, looking at his numbers, he played extremely well yesterday. But now a lot of these guys got to follow up. So it's going to be interesting to see how this happens. What's interesting is it is the first round. So if you are struggling against the Lakers, let's say you do get past the Lakers, you either got to play the Suns or possibly OKC. And now you run into another bigger issue. So, you're going to have to make those adjustments. But game 3 is going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, talked before, Joe. I'm not saying Chris Paul would turn his team's fortunes around, but
It would help.
he could give you at least a good 15 minutes of stabilization with this squad and help kind of knock everybody down a peg in terms of lineups. And, everybody, they kind of written Paul off and, the Clippers situation, stuff like that. But he could have helped a couple teams out here.
Oh, yeah.
Besides, the Clippers, and that's that thing that happens, bam, whatever. But it's kind of looking now what happened there, the trade deadline, stuff like that. The Raptors could have kept him along. Good God, they just, I won't say the shits, but it's just like, damn.
Right.
Y'all need stabilization and quit have Scotty Barnes trying to do every damn thing in the world. And then the Rockets. If you had like a solid point guard right there and Paul, you knock that everybody down a peg in the lineup. Now you got Thompson playing the wing where he should be more comfortable at. Durant, getting him nice looks and stuff like that. Sagoons in the pick and roll against Ayton. If you get Sagoon and Chris Paul and pick and rolls against Ayton, you eating all damn day.
Oh, yeah.
Ayton's not stopping that. Jackson Hayes ain't stopping that. And now, if you get those two bigs in foul trouble, who the Lakers going to throw out there? Maxi Kleber?
Yeah. Agree.
So, sometimes the NBA, sometimes they just shoot in sports in general, we've seen over the years, it's like sometimes if a player got like a stigma about them, they just kind of just push them aside and stuff like that, even though it could be detriment to their own team or somebody else's team, whatever. But I was thinking, like, damn, if they had like a solid point guard, this team would be solid. And yeah, I did have them going to the Western Conference Finals. Now, if they get to the second round, if they potentially win the series, get to the second round against OKC, then OKC is going to wash them.
Oh, yeah. You talk about a team that's ready, and probably been peaking or ready to peak for the playoffs. This is the part of the season that they're ready, being the fact that they are the defending champs. So you're having a tough time with the Lakers. It's going to be tougher with the Thunder.
And speaking about the Thunder, D-Lock, we got to talk about, the other game for tonight on ESPN. I'll just put the title up like this. Does Phoenix have a chance against OKC in your eyes?
You know what? I want to say I had the same question with Atlanta Hawks against Cleveland. But, you sent me that message about Mark Williams. We see what that is. The Lakers definitely dodged a bullet there. But in my opinion, I think OKC is just probably too talented. They're definitely, they're deep. Now I think Jalen Green has a hell of a game tonight. I think Devin Booker has a hell of a game as well. But I think Jordan Godwin is not playing. Mark Williams is out. I keep getting the guys. I don't know how to say his last name. Odoro. I can't even pronounce it correctly, so I don't want to butcher it and get it wrong. But I'm gonna think, he's probably Igdaro. He's gonna start at the 5. I think I got OKC by 15 tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Shea had 25 last game. Jalen Williams at 22. Holmgren 16 points. But everybody played under 30 minutes against Phoenix.
Mhm.
That's the thing. It's like, damn, you got all that under 30 minutes of action, and then you made bench guys played under. Most of them played under 20 minutes, and then guys behind them. You know, you talking about how deep this roster is. The guys behind him, you got the other Jalen Williams, the big man,
Mhm.
Jeremy Kane, who can come in and score. Aaron Wiggins,
Mhm.
Kendrick Williams, who can give you solid time, and Nikola Topic as well. So this team, they're deep.
Yeah.
Getting Jeremy Kane around the deadline, that was a steal. You want to talk about like a 3-guard depth? I mean, the perfect 3-guard depth for your team. That's perfect right there.
Oh yeah.
Ken, Shea, Case and Wallace. That's deep. And I don't think, like you said, Phoenix. I don't think they got the horses to match it. Jalen Green tonight's game, he got to come out and play strong. Dylan Brooks got to come out and play strong, and not trying to do Dylan Brooks things.
Yeah.
And then the bench. I don't know, man. The bench. Gillespie, he's fine off the bench. I got no issues. Royce O'Neal. After that's when you start questioning things. Like Highsmith, he's okay. The kid from Duke, the big man they took from Duke. I'm trying to find his name. Makula, who they drafted from Duke. You kind of did that kid disservice. Not playing. I mean, they did play him, but it's like in garbage time. And then what they should have probably did with him, probably send him down to the G League, give him some good burn, and then we come to the active roster. Now he's more up to speed, and you're not playing in garbage time. And now, in series against this, against OKC, you can throw him out there, get some playing time, curve, and stuff like that, get some OKC big man. But they kind of dropped the ball in his development this year. So I'm not saying Phoenix can't win a game. I'm not saying they can.
Right.
But damn, it
It's
ain't
gonna be
gonna happen
tough.
tonight. It ain't gonna happen tonight.
Nah, it's gonna be tough. I mean, I think unless OKC come with ill intentions and say, hey, we need to go ahead and put this away, get this 2-0 lead, which I think they will come out like that. If they don't, maybe Phoenix could come out and play a role and get a chance to make the game close. But I think this team is just too loaded.
Yeah.
The bench is really stacked. Honestly, as much as we do talk about Mark Williams not being there, I think that does play a role in this team because of the bigs that OKC do have. So now you're missing somebody who can be in that rotation. Now you got Adaro down there. You don't got that many people, that many bigs. I think that this is where OKC will take over tonight, and I think it's by dominating with the bigs. I think that's where we're going to see that big difference. Obviously, we know what OKC has with SGA and all the rest of those guards, but I think Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein have their way tonight.
So we'll see what happens there tonight. We'll be live tweeting that game once it goes live, right? When it happens right now. So we'll follow us on our Twitter account at FastBreak@IESR. That's our handle right there. We'll be tweeting live in that game. If there's a blowout, you'll see less tweets about it because I don't tweet blowouts.
No.
I'll be out front with y'all with that. But D-Locke, let's take a break. On the other side of things, we'll talk about Philly, Boston, what happens in that series there. Getting the two young dudes in Edgecombe and Maxey surprise folks. Also, Hawks, Knicks, what's going down in that series as well. And Spurs and the cheapo Blazers, because their new owner is kind of taking the attention away from this series. Plus, Minnesota, Denver, we got to rap about that. And then maybe touch on Cleveland and Toronto as well. But this is Fast Break here on Live for Sports Radio. You read for all sports, and we catch you on the other side.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at iSports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making iSports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning us tonight on this Wednesday night show. May do another one next week. We'll see how things go. Things didn't get too busy. We'll see how things go. Right now, as we are live discussing NBA playoff talk, Detroit still up double digits on the Orlando Magic, 88-69 in the fourth quarter, 8:05 left in the fourth quarter. Lock your Magic.
Got to find a way.
I think if Detroit hangs on to the lead and win this game, I think the main thing for Orlando, you got the split.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, take that. Go home. Yeah, right.
But let me ask you this question before we talk about the Sixers and Celtics. Let's say if the Magic win this series, does Mosley still keep his job for another year?
I think that's a good selling. I guess he can definitely go in there and say, "Hey, I got this win." I think he can go in there and say that because now, you do have the talent. Now the coaching is showing it is making a big difference, especially against the number one team. I think you can go out there and say, "Hey, you bring them back for another year," in my opinion, because the Pistons obviously shocked a lot of people how they played this year, but the fact is they got the number one seed in the East. You get in the playoffs, you find a way to get in the playoffs. Obviously, your name is up there for possibly getting moved on from, but you find a way to beat, not only make it to the next round, but you beat you beat the number one seed. So if they could find a way to beat the Pistons in this series, I think his job is safe at least for another year, especially with the guys that he have. But I still wouldn't rule them out making another move during the offseason.
I think we'll talk about the offseason stuff like that, but with the Milwaukee Bucks murky future and stuff like that, if they win the series and stuff like that, I'll take a swing at Giannis.
Oh yes.
And I think, offering Jalen Suggs, the Wagner brothers, keep them together. I know you traded a whole bunch of first-round picks for Desmond Bane. You find a first-round pick somewhere, sitting down long there too. Hey, man, make it work. Make it work. Just saying. But anyways, we'll keep an eye on that game. They're down by 19 now. But D-Locke, last night, let me get this out here. The Sixers beat the Celtics 111-97, tying the series 1-1. Edgecombe and Maxey take over. The rookie Edgecombe and also Maxey combined for 59 points, repeatedly punching Boston's perimeter defense. D-Locke, your thoughts on Philly bouncing back in game 2 and winning against the Celtics at Boston?
I was definitely shocked. Let me go ahead and pull up some of these results because I, knowing what Boston knew what was at stake, thought Boston would have figured out a way to get there. And another thing too is Jaylen Brown wasn't in foul trouble this game. The prior game he was. It played a huge role in that game, but looking at it, man, they just didn't play well. Mainly Jason Tatum. For 8 for 19, it's not good. 2 for 8. It didn't help anything. Finished with 19 points. Another person that didn't play good, in my opinion, was Quitter. I think they had high expectations on him. Obviously, Embiid is not playing. So I wouldn't be surprised if they move Vooch into the starting lineup at some point to see if it makes a big difference for this team. Derek White could have played a little bit better. That big game that we seen from Peyton Pritchard, we did not see this game either. But shockingly, I think the combination with Maxey and Edgecombe is a dangerous combination. I think these guys made it very tough on Boston. 12 for 26 for 10 for Edgecombe. He went insane. Also had a double-double, having 10 rebounds against a team that is good at rebounding with the guy that they have in Boston. Tyrese Maxey went on a tear as he usually does. Paul George actually showed up this game. So how often do we see that? That is the question that remains. But to get a game in Boston is, as we know, is a hard place to win for many teams. And for Philly to get that without Joel Embiid, as we know, don't know how long he's going to be out. But that's a big win. I was expecting this series to go 4-0, but I would say now it goes 4-1. I'm not sure how often we're going to see Paul George play like this. It wasn't perfect, but we know playoff P does come around. But I think that we're not going to see him look like this throughout the whole series. The thing is, can Maxey and Edgecombe lead the charge with this team? And how far can they take them? But also, I don't think you're going to catch Jason Tatum shooting that bad the rest of this series. I think he's going to shoot a hell of a lot better, in my opinion. So, again, big shocker, but they did get one win. So now I take it to, instead of 4-0, I think it'd be a gentleman's sweep.
I'm at to counter that.
Really?
I don't know. I've been very high on BJ Edgecombe all year.
Yeah.
And this kid, and he had his, rookie, drought. I don't say drought, but, kind of like a little speed bump. But he's been very consistent all year. And him and Maxey have been played very well all year together. So much so that, I hate to call it early, but like one of the better backcourt duos in the NBA. You know, granted, you know, they both, you know, under 6'5", but they're, you know, they're kind of long, they kind of well built that, you know, that really doesn't, you know, affect things. And, you know, if they can, you know, do this every night, you know, getting close to 60 points every night, and then hope and pray that the other guys kind of come in and play well too, especially Paul George and Kelly Oubre, I think they'll go a long way for the Sixers to kind of, I don't think they'll win the series, but they'll give them a challenge. And it kind of sucks that Joel Embiid is not gonna play in the series, because if those two, your backcourt is straight. If you had Embiid in the mix of things, man, you could be singing a different tune about this series.
Mm-hmm.
But damn, it's just like you think, okay, Maxey All-Star, Edgecombe first team All-Rookie. Now we just need our MVP center. We're straight. Paul George back in the fold of things. So you got those 4 things going for you right there, but one of those things are taken away from you in Embiid, and now, you know, lucky for the Sixers, like you mentioned, their big man can't take advantage of that. And that's going to be one thing for Boston. Like you mentioned about Vooch, you probably have to put him in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Quetta is nice and stuff like that. Nice hustle guy and stuff like that. But he ain't no real difference maker. You know, Luke Garza, I had high hopes for him. I thought maybe he would come in and be a nice rotation guy, but, you know, he's just a bench guy now. And that's why you make a move to get a guy like Vooch, because the guys you hope to, you know, do well for you at the same position really didn't do it for you. And now you're Boston. Yeah, Jason Tatum's not going to have 5 fouls again in the game in the series. Maybe not. Derek White ain't going to shoot as bad as he did yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Hauser, same thing. Shot poor from the field. So, and Boston's like 13 for 50 for 3-point land, which I know they live and die by the three, but, you know, you drove Missoula and say, hey, man, you know, let's drive the paint a little bit. We get some foul on these guys. You know, make Andre Drummond and Bonya's life living hell down low. So, for me, I think this series gets split in Philadelphia. I think Boston will win game 3, but I think Philly will win game 4. And this series will be 2-2. Now, after that, you know, what happens if you're Philly, kind of looking back at the tape from last year when the New York played Boston, stay strong, stay determined, and keep that pressure on that backcourt. Get those guys like Peyton Pritchard, Derek White tired, and then come fourth quarter, you're on attack mode. Like Edgecombe, Maxey, y'all guys on attack mode, and you got those dudes tired trying to keep up with y'all all damn game. And Paul George can come in and play his game and stuff like that. You're looking good.
Right.
So, you know, we'll see what happens here in a couple of days, but you know, this series is gonna be a lot closer than a lot of people imagine. And I think because the two young guys right here, I got on the screen, I think they're gonna make some noise right there.
I agree with you there. I think this is the frustrating thing about Joel Embiid not being healthy, because, you know, you're battling a team that could be one of the better teams in the you're battling a team that is an NBA champ recently in the Boston Celtics. If you can go hand to hand with this team, this team you can be pretty well. And the problem is, you have a person that is an all-star, an MVP that can play a big role in your team moving forward. You know what I mean? With Joel Embiid. So you got your young guys. You talked about grabbing Paul George and bringing him part of the team. Well, now you got your guys, and the one person that they're building around isn't around. And they're still going hand in hand, like you said, toe to toe with the team that is clearly a big time favorite to go to the NBA Finals, and it's been there. So, to me, I agree with you. It's a very tough thing because at the end of the day, this is something that they have to deal with. But this team is like I said, they're playing pretty well. You got your two young guys. In my opinion, man, Tyrese Maxey, and this is just me if I did have a vote, which I don't, but I think Tyrese Maxey need to be in the talk of the MVP. I think he is big time top 3 because he has taken his team a long way and has done a lot. And this team is not doing this without him. But again, I mean, like you said, this series could go pretty far, but I do think the Celtics eventually take over and show that they're a better team.
Yeah, I'll look on the other side of the Celtics real quick. Tatum did have his best game. Game 2. Jaylen Brown, 36 points. Nothing to sneeze at, but you had to do a lot of heavy lifting to get there. And hopefully, I think, what kept them consistent this year, the role players got to show back up. Derek White, Pritchard, Baylor Shireman, those guys got to show up next game if they got any chance to win in Philly.
Right.
I'm not, you Joe Mazzulla, I'm not asking, telling Derek White, hey, man, I need 20 points for you next game. I mean, that'd be great, but I'm not asking for 20 points next game, man. Just be consistent, hit your open shots. Don't try and force nothing. If your 3-point shot not hitting, draw the lane. Maybe your edge comb is still a rookie. Take advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? Tyrese Maxey, young player, take advantage of that. These two guys think they're invincible. You got to take advantage of that, getting them in foul trouble and trying to take them out of that groove. So I think if you can do that, if you're Boston, take those two guys out of your groove, I think they'll go a long way. Things. So, like I said, I got Boston winning game 3 because of those adjustments. Like you mentioned, I'll put Vooch in the starting lineup.
Oh yeah,
because I can't have Philly going down to Philly and being down 3-1. I need at least a split in this series.
Yeah.
And that's the case. And then God knows if Embiid was play this scenario out, if he comes out and trying to put his cape on and save the day. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you never know these things. And you kind of want to take all possibilities out of the way. I'll let you have the last word.
Yeah, I think that when you do have your Boston, you have all these expectations. You do grab somebody like a Vooch who's also an all-star. You gotta get it done. You got to put this team away, who is a very talented team in Philly. But this is your chance to show that you're that team. In my opinion, this is where they get that done. And I think that you make that slight adjustment. You traded for Vooch. Go ahead and put that in there and see the difference and see what it does for your team. Definitely not having Embiid playing, it plays a huge role for them. But to me, this is the chance that Boston can show that they are the better team and they kind of can move on. I still stick to a 4-1. I see it hard to see that Philly go grabs maybe 2 or 3 games. If so, I would be worried about Boston moving forward. But Philly's going to be tough. I just think that Boston is going to show, why they're the better team.
And Philly lose 4-1. I mean, it's not. I mean, look at the season. I mean, Paul George didn't play the majority of the year. Embiid didn't play the majority of the year. So those 2 factors had to go into it, and then you had the rookie Edgecombe.
Correct.
So you're Philly. It's not the end of the world. You lose the series, but a lot of questions.
Oh yeah.
About y'all's future.
Big time, in my opinion.
D-Locke, let's go to this series here. The Portland Trail Blazers defeated the San Antonio Spurs 106-103 on April 21st. Yesterday, tying the series 1-1. Now, Portland did win. Portland closed the game on a 27-10 run, flipping that 14-point deficit into a road win. Hey, great job. Thiago Splitter doing a great job. Those guys, despite the circumstances, with Chauncey being gone and new ownership, all that good stuff, all that. But I think we both agree the main thing that kind of swung things in their favor. Victor Wembanyama exit the game with a concussion, dramatically changing San Antonio's interior defense and rim protection. D-Locke, as we are speaking right now on April 22nd, my time at 8:41 Central Time, Victor Wembanyama is still in concussion protocol. He is hopeful to travel with the team. So the next game for this series is, let me pull it up real quick. It's Friday on Amazon at 9:30. And in your opinion, D-Locke, if he does not play, how do you see Game 3 going in your eyes?
You know what? I think if Victor doesn't play, I think it opens up a lot for one person named Denny. He could not do anything, literally, at all. He could not do nothing yesterday. I mean, he was in foul trouble, couldn't get around. I think this game gets very interesting if Denny can get going. Luke Kennard obviously is who he is. In my opinion, if he do get started, I think the biggest thing is he's going to have to they're going to have to rely on De'Aaron Fox and others. So this game can get very interesting. It could go very well. But I think with Portland is a sneaky team. They're a very sneaky team, but I think the Spurs have the depth. The biggest thing, though, is that if Victor does not play, things can get very spicy. I think Portland can possibly take Game 3.
It's a couple good signs for Portland that came out of Game 2. That I was watching the game, I was like, okay, if those things kind of mature, it'll go a long way for Portland to maybe not win the series, but make some noise. One, Mr. Scoot Henderson. Scoot Henderson had 31 points. No assists, which that's egregious for him. But one steal, one block. Played very well in the starting lineup. This is a Scoot Henderson that we've been kind of waiting on for ever since he entered the league.
Yes.
This is a Scoot Henderson, and let's be real. If we're gonna be real, the G League Ignite thing did not help those boys very much. If we're gonna be real,
No,
it did not. Scoot Henderson should have went to one of the big schools, Duke, Kansas, Michigan State, somebody to learn under get a year or two lit under there and then bounce to the NBA. That was not the route to go. But anyways, the injuries, stuff like that, you know, hopefully all that's behind him because he showed that and played well Tuesday. You know, he played well. I got shout Donovan Klingman played pretty well as well.
Oh, yeah.
Robert Williams played pretty well, even though I questioned that taking a three-pointer late in the game like that. I saw that deal. I was like, why was this fucker shooting a three? You trying to win the game, late in the game. What we doing here?
Yeah.
And then Blazers fans, they're done with Jeremy Grant. I don't know if you saw that on Twitter /X, but they
done with him.
They done with him. And I forgot how many years he got left on his contract, but damn, they done with him. But you know, going back to the game and stuff like that, if Victor Wembanyama don't win this game, play this game, you gotta take advantage of the inside. Klingman, Robert Williams, you know, you gotta take advantage of that. You know, Klingman had 2 blocks. Robert Williams had 2 blocks. You know, I think they had to steal a piece as well. So if you're getting good production for your bigs like that, that'll go a long way. You know, those other guys in the Spurs are trying to up their game. Because everybody, if we all know, everybody in the Spurs feeds off Victor Wembanyama.
Big time.
Defensive and offensively. Everybody feeds off him, off his play, all that stuff. And once he went out, you kind of saw the change in that. De'Aaron Fox wasn't creating like he should. You know, Castle and Bassel, they did what they could. But I was kind of more disappointed in De'Aaron Fox not kind of taking the reins and kind of creating stuff like that. I think that's got to change, you know, next game. And then you 6th man of the year, Keldon Johnson, which I don't know how the hell he got that award. But anyways, you know, 7 points for him off the bench. That's got to be better. Harrison Barnes, only 4 points, but he went out injured. So his status is up the air. So, you know, Luke Cornett, 10 points, 9 rebounds. You know, Champagne, 9 points for him. But, you know, Victor being out is going to shape up a lot of things. I'm not saying they can win the game. But, damn it, that Portland crowd's going to be, well, they're going to be nice and loud with no free T-shirts. But, you know, they're going to be up there taking advantage of it. And like I said, if Victor don't play, and Portland got to take advantage of that. Make it rough for the Spurs. A lot of those guys on the Spurs haven't been in the playoffs. They have much playoff experience, including De'Aaron Fox. If you're looking, being real about that, he ain't had a lot of playoff experience.
Yeah.
So you're Portland. You got a nice squad. The V, you know, one of the nice big man scorers out there. Drew Holiday's a veteran. And then, but if the young guy Sheldon Sharp and Scoot Henderson could play ball, looking pretty good for Portland.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Victor is obviously defensive player of the year. Possibly more awards coming for him, but I think that you have a team that has guys that can come in. They obviously Kendall Johnson, as we've seen, got 6 Man of the Year. I think we're going to see a lot more from him. But you got guys on that team that can fill that role. But I think that the role, the team that they're playing in Portland is a pretty solid team. I think they got the good guys on there. Scoot Henderson had a hell of a game. He showed that he's, like you said, coming to his own. And then you got some of those vets on there with the Drew Holiday and a couple other guys. Like, I think that's going to play a big role in what this team does moving forward. So they're going to need Victor to move, pretty far. Now, I think they do, get past this series. I think they're fine, but I think, in my opinion, Victor playing is going to determine how long the series goes. Does it go, 6 games or whatever? But without Victor, this can be very, very interesting.
And I think one thing I brought up the Portland ownership, the new owner and whatnot. The way he's been going about, I mean, the things that have been coming out about him and stuff like that, how he's handling things and stuff like that, with the staff, all that good stuff, all that jazz. And then also the reports coming out about Thiago Splitter and that situation.
Mm-hmm.
The new owner wants to play head coaches with this like $1.1 million. Basically, for those that don't know, the new owner for the Blazers, I forgot, Tom Dunnan, owns the what's that? The Carolina Hurricanes in the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if he's trying to copy and paste what he does in NHL to the NBA, but I think he's gonna learn very quickly that it ain't gonna fly in the NBA.
Nah.
Like, you can't, if you need a solid coach, you can't play a coach $1.1 million. And then, as looking through stuff, they were trying to go after Mike Malone, but hell, he was getting paid a lot more than in Denver. Now he's getting $7.5 million at North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And he's getting $7.5 million in North Carolina and playing and coaching half the games in college. So you can't do things like that and then expect to have a contending team. And then you're in a small market in Portland anyway, so you got an uphill battle regardless. And he should know that, being an owner down in Carolina in the NHL. Especially in Eastern Conference going against the teams up north, the 2 New York teams, Philly, Pittsburgh, where you live at.
Yeah.
The Canadian teams, Toronto. So you can't do hockey stuff and NBA and basketball stuff. They're not the same.
Nah.
And you do it, and be honest with you, Thiago Splitter deserved at least another year or so to be the head coach. Because he weathered the storm of Chauncey just fucking up his life, basically. And you got his team to the playoffs, and you split 1-1 so far against the Spurs.
A talented team.
A very talented team. Potential MVP, Victor Wembanyama.
Mm-hmm.
So you're 1-1, but you got your new owner just kind of making behind the scenes noise that kind of maybe affect your team. How was that last round on the series?
I mean, Victor being Victor, we know defensive player of the year. He does a lot of good things for the Spurs. Kendall Johnson, I think he's changed a lot for that team. We thought about Portland as not being a team that was going to be that good, this year, knowing who they had. And obviously, I think they got Dame there, trying to get them back situated, all these other things, and thought they were in a rebuild mode. But you got some vets there, Now the matchup is what it is. I mean, hey, Spurs and Portland, you're thinking, okay, well, there's no way in hell they're going to figure that out. But now it kind of, you're missing a player. And I don't know how many fans seen that video of him hitting his head on the court, but he hit his head pretty hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, in my opinion, you have to realize how big of an impact he's going to make. Now, with this team, I think Kamara actually played pretty well for them this past week or this past game. Drew Holiday, Scoot Henderson, Klingon, obviously without Victor there, was able to be the double machine that he's been. Now you want to be able to say, hey, this possible person is out. Let's kind of take advantage of this weakness part that they got. Now, can Luke Cornett step up and show something? That's the biggest question. Can he do that? Possibly, in my opinion, but at the same time, we have to see it be done. So this series is going to get very interesting. This is why we love the playoffs, right? A lot of times what we're expecting to see these sweeps. No, some of these teams are coming in, even though it's 1 versus 8, or 2 versus 7, they're coming in to get some wins to show that, hey, we're in the playoffs and we, are worthy of being in the playoffs. Y'all not going to come in here and just sweep us and get the hell on, So for me, it's going to get very interesting. And now we want to see the adjustment they're going to make without Victor. How's that going to change? How do they game plan? Because I truly believe, obviously, Kendall Johnson, Harrison Barnes, these guys, Champagne, they're throwing at Denny. You got to add Victor in there. And now that he's out, can Denny actually get going? If he gets going and Scoot Henderson has a similar day that he had, and then now you got Shaden Sharp who come in the mix, Drew Holiday, these guys, you got to watch out for what Portland can do. Another person that we got to shout out now that Victor is not playing is Robert Williams.
Mm-hmm.
He has played extremely well off the bench. A hell of a defender that we've seen in Boston. So now, can he come in? Can him and Klingon dominate down low to play a big role in his Portland team? So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. But I think Victor being out is playing a huge role.
And Friday's going to be very interesting. Like, if I can stay up all night, that game should be very compelling.
Yeah.
Portland. Like I said, it all depends if Victor clears concussion protocol. And I hope the league don't try to rush him because, as we watched Victor a lot. We've seen Victor play. He goes to the ground a lot.
Yeah.
On drives and stuff like that. I said it in the video before, like, man, you kind of need to dial that back a little bit. And now the worst case scenario is kind of come about that.
Right.
And now, we'll see what happens Friday, but I hope they don't try to rush him back just because. And if he's back, he's clear, he's good to go, fine. But he went face first on the court.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
That's my thing. He went face first.
Face first, yeah. And like I said, you guys haven't seen the video, definitely check it out. Look at it at regular speed, full speed. That we'll see how much time he is out, but obviously the Spurs got to make adjustments.
So Spurs making adjustments, then the Knicks got to make adjustments because the Hawks returned the favor in game 2 and almost game blew it. But they defeated the New York Knicks 107-106 in game 2 on April the 20th, completing a 12-point fourth quarter comeback to tie the series 1-1. Atlanta now takes a home court advantage heading back to State Farm Arena. The Knicks must solve their late game stagnation and find ways to keep Towns engaged in the fourth quarters. D-Locke, I don't know about this series. It's like, I don't know who got the advantage. it's hard to say. You know, CJ McCollum played well in that game. Almost blew it with the free throws being missed. But what's your opinion thus far this series? And who has the advantage in your eyes?
Well, I'm going to say straightforward. I think Atlanta has the advantage right now because they won in New York, which is hard to win in Madison Square Garden. Another reason why I think they have the advantage, Jalen Johnson, 6 for 12 and 0 for 3, 8 rebounds. He has not played well.
No.
At all. So when he starts to play well, what happens? I think you're looking at a Knicks team that these guys are playing pretty well. I think Carl at the times could have played a little bit better, but hell, I mean, 8 for 12, 2 for 5. You can't really be mad at that. Mikal Bridges needs to be a little bit more effective. But CJ McCollum, you know, is showing what he can do. Another person that's going to play a big role is Kuminga, who got a hell of a lot of minutes off the bench for this team. But I'm giving them that advantage because right now, their star player is not playing well right at this moment. And hopefully he can get started. And once he do, I think you're looking at a totally different Hawks team. Now, do they win the series? No. I think the Knicks find a way to get this done. But in my opinion, when you do have Jalen Brunson, 29 points, I mean, the rest of these guys got to get to it. You know, I mean, Karl-Anthony Towns, 18. Nobody else had 20-plus points. Bridges didn't shoot that well. Anunoby didn't play too bad. But, you know, these guys got to be able to take advantage. And the only person that played extremely well, obviously, for the Hawks is one CJ McCollum. So, to me, you know, looking at these numbers, if you can get Jalen Johnson going a little bit, Alexander Walker, who we know can get scorching hot from time to time, I think the Hawks could be pretty scary. But the issue that we've talked about and we know is we're expecting the Knicks to have, you know, the roster and the players to, you know, I think beat this team handily. They got a lot of the players. I think that, you know, Anunoby, Karl-Anthony Towns, Josh Hart, Bridges, Brunson, this rotation and these guys should get it done. But your bench isn't giving you anything. I mean, the only person that's playing pretty solid is Mitchell Robinson. But Shamet didn't get anything off of 10 minutes, and neither did Deuce McBride for the second game in a row. So, you know, you're putting a lot on your starters. Now we're looking at the situation where we're talking about Tibbs playing these guys for all of these minutes. You know what I mean? What are you getting out of that? So you're expecting your five to give you, you know, quality minutes, but if they're not hitting their shots, your bench players got to come up and step up. And with Shamet not playing good, McBride, I think that's playing a huge role. So to me, I think the Hawks could make this a very interesting series, but I think the Knicks need to put this away in 5.
Yeah, Jalen Johnson has not played his best. McCollum, thank goodness he got hot in that game to kind of shoulder that load. Dyson Daniels, you know, it's kind of like a disappointment in a sense, like, damn, dog. Defensively, you're cool and stuff like that, but offensively, it's like, ooh. It's starting to show in situations like this. Kuminga, kind of really showing why that Steve Kerr is possibly leaving Golden State. Just kind of the lack of development and trust and stuff like that. And he's come in and played very well for the Knicks. I mean, not for the Knicks, for the Hawks, excuse me. But going back to that box score, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, not headstrong game, but 9 points for him. Gabe Vincent, 3 points for him. Tony Bradley, 2 points for him. Chris Burt, you're kind of your 3-point marksman in a sense. You only had like 8 minutes. And then Buddy Hield didn't play. Zachariah Rashir did not play. And Hawks fans are done with him.
Right.
They just like get him out the team type of energy. Brunson, he played well. It's just like, but the offense didn't really get involved.
Right.
It's just like you watch the Knicks team, like you look, these guys play well, but it's just like not consistently through. And Karl-Anthony Towns should be eating more, but he's really not. So, and they get into these late fourth quarter situations, and we kind of see what Mike Brown learned from being under Steve Kerr and Golden State.
Mm-hmm.
The guards have more control of the ball, and they have more control of the late game situations, all that stuff. That's why Brunson had the ball like a yo-yo and stuff like that. And Towns ain't getting no good touches and stuff like that. I think that's something Mike Brown has to figure out. Yeah, I got Brunson here, but I got big man down low that can help shorter that those situations in the fourth quarter. Like, this ain't Golden State. You ain't got Draymond down low or Festus Ezeli or anybody else you could think of. You got to get big down low who can also shoot at 3-point lane. So Mike Brown has to figure something out coaching wise, like the thing says, keep him engaged in the fourth quarters. If not, you're gonna get pouting Karl-Anthony Towns, and that's not good for anybody involved.
No, it's not. I mean, I think that at the same time, if Karl-Anthony Towns is out, now you put more on Jalen Brunson, but at this point, you got to take advantage of your opportunities. And I think the Hawks, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Jalen Johnson be a hell of a lot more aggressive on this game 3 because he has to get going. He has not played very well against the Knicks recently, but I think now, now obviously what's going on to be at home. Now you get a chance to kind of get going. Now C.J. McCollum playing how he's going. He can catch fire. Obviously, what Alexander Walken could do. At this point now, you get your other guy going, your all-star going. I think the Hawks will be pretty tough. But if you don't keep, like you said, with Karl-Anthony Towns, you got to get him going ASAP as well for this Knicks team to really be something to deal with. Because if not, we kind of can see what happens. You let a team stick around, and now you take a loss at home, which you didn't need.
So we'll see how things go this game here. And I think either Quinn Snyder in Atlanta, hopefully Jalen Johnson will come back and be that triple-double threat that we've seen all year. Hopefully guys like Nickeil Alexander-Walker come out and shoot better than, this past game. And hopefully, CJ kind of keeps it up. Keeps up the scoring. I'm not asking for 31 points, but just be consistent, helping scoring bunches. And kind of like what Scoot Henderson said in the post game against the Spurs game 2. Basketball is a game of runs. So, keep the game going, stuff like that. I think they're going a long way for the Hawks. And like I said about Mike Brown, you got to figure something out with this group.
Yeah, indeed.
Because you're being tasked to kind of be better than the previous guy. And be real, the previous guy probably going to be tied up 1-1 if we're being real.
Yeah,
But we shall see.
big time.
We shall see. All right, D-Lock, before we get out of here, we got to talk about this series real quick. I ain't going to waste time on the Toronto-Cleveland series. I think that's a wrap. But the Timberwolves beat the Nuggets 119-114 on a couple days ago, completing a 19-point comeback to tie the series 1-1. 30 points for Anthony Edwards, 10 rebounds for him. Julius Randle, 24 points, 9 rebounds. Shot the ball very well in the first half. Both guys did, Edwards and Randle. Dante DiVincenzo doing everything, scoring, hustle plays, playing very well. Jokic, near triple-double, 24 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists. Jamal Murray, 30 points for him in that Game 2 loss. D-Lock, when these two teams get together in the playoffs, it's like you don't know which way it's going to go. Game 3 up in Minnesota, who has the advantage?
This is a situation where I'm not going to say that a home court advantage helps. I think I'm going to go with Denver. I think Denver is the better team. Now, I do think that you are going to get a highly motivated Minnesota team that's going to play well. But to me, I think Denver, I think Jokic and them are they know that they gotta get a game, have to get a game in Minnesota. This is the most interesting series, the first round. You got two teams that this possibly could be the Western Conference Final, to be honest with you, with both teams with that much talent and what they can do. In my opinion, you have to get going on both sides. With Ant-Man and Naj Reid at some point has to get going, who's had a kind of up and down series, if you will. But I think Ant-Man is going to feel a hell of a lot better on his third game. And he's going to feel a hell of a lot better. He's going to get more comfortable. There's going to be somebody to watch out for. But all in all, I think Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, and Jokic is a little too much for Minnesota.
I think for me, going back to this game, Jaden McDaniels, I've gone looking back and this kind of plays back in my mind. Jaden McDaniels, very solid, but at times, 5 fouls, this kind of guy played a little bit better. Just don't try to do too much defensively. It's kind of becoming a better mind. Bones Highland, 13 points for him off the bench. Can you get that? If he gets showing more minutes, can he produce, like he did in Game 2? Rudy Gobert, 2.7 rebounds,
Mm-hmm.
In that matchup, 5 fouls. Can he play smarter or whatnot? And let's be real, Rudy Gobert is probably like one of the better neutralizers against Jokic. I'm not saying full stop, but in terms of keeping up with him, making life difficult, he can hang with them and whatnot. But, if Jokic can get him in foul trouble like this game, I think they go a long way. Julius Randle shot the ball very well, but as we've seen by Julius Randle, he can shoot well one game and then kind of just disappear next game and shoot very poorly. So I think you, Chris Finch, got to get Randall going early, get and Edwards going early, and having in good open shots. I think that can go a long way for you.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're a different side of things, put Jokic and Murray to the side. Eric Gordon had 8 points last game. Had a very key three-pointer that kind of kept it close. But he got show up. Cam Johnson, 13 points for him. Guy need that same production again. Christian Braun, 16 points. Can be a little bit better. Tim Hardaway, I mean, you're 6-man candidate, 16 points. Not more you can ask for in that situation. Now, Bruce Brown, Valanciunas. You got. I mean, I know Valanciunas don't play like 2 minutes. 2 minutes, but you gotta get more. If they play more minutes, you gotta get more production out of those guys. So, if you get more production out of the role players, I think they'll go a long way for Denver. But if you're Chris Finch, I'll tell him Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards, I need that, which I did in game 2, carry over to game 3, and I think we'll be looking good in this series. I'll let you have the last word.
Yeah, I mean, I think in my opinion, Ant-Man is the one that's going to get this Timberwolves team going. Mm-hmm. And he wakes up and he gets them going a good way. Now, can we, like you said, Demetrio was a hustler this past game. He played extremely well, but can he continue that for game 3? Obviously, playing at home is a hell of a lot different. It plays a role, but you have somebody who's going to play a big part in Ant-Man. And can everybody else come around and add on to that? I think that Denver is going to be one to watch out for just because of who they have. What can Jamal Murray and Jokic do? Now, can Bruce Brown, can he come in and play a good role? Can Eric Gordon play his role? Can Christian Braun catch fire? Like, these guys are going to have to come in, which I think they can play a big role on this. But it's gonna take that team to play together as a unit and get things done, because I think the Timberwolves do have that leader, that alpha dog that's going to play a big role in them in Ant-Man. He gets going, I think it's going to play a huge role in everything else for them.
And then I think if you're Denver, Jokic may have to score like 35 points. I think he got to score 35.
Yep.
I might not ask for a triple-double, but give at least 35, and we'll just figure out the rest from there. And I think Eric Gordon, got to give at least 15. Got to give 15 and get like Julius Randle in foul trouble. I think those things could happen. I think, they'll go in for Denver to win the game and whatnot to take advantage back of the series. D-Locke, before we get out of here, let's go back. Your Orlando Magic lost 98-83 to the Pistons. Your thoughts on tonight's loss?
I think, the Pistons came out ready to play. I think they came out and wanted to make sure they didn't go down 0-2. Got a reality check game 1. Foul trouble definitely helped hurt Orlando. But watching this game, what I really like, kudos to Detroit winning this game, but what I really, really like about Orlando, and I think they're going to be fine, they fought to the end. They're down 20, about 5 minutes left, 6 minutes. We usually see teams do what? Tap the head. Coach says, all right, we're going to bring these guys in, and let's go ahead and get ready for the next game. They didn't do that. They took it to about 2 minutes. This team fought to let them know, hey, we are here. This is going to be a dog fight throughout this whole series. So kudos to Detroit. Like I said, I think, waking up Jalen Duren and Cade Cunningham, and man, Thompson actually had a hell of a game for him as well as Tobias Harris. They played as a complete unit today. I think you could have got more from guys in the Magic other Wendell Carter. Banchero played pretty solid. But, Suggs, these guys are going to have to play, better than game 3. But in a sense, I think, to be honest with you, I think Orlando, as much as this is a loss, I think Orlando has won this. They have the advantage right now. They win in Detroit. They stole a win. Now I'll come back and win 2 games at home. Mm-hmm. You've taken a home court advantage. Go get you 2 games at home. You're gonna go back. You're playing against the number 1 team, number 1 seeded team in the East. Go back and take advantage of being at home. Go back to Detroit up 3-1. I think if you do that, that changes a hell of a lot for this team. And I think they can. It's about what they do, how they come out. you punched Detroit in the mouth, right? Now you got to keep on swinging, and that's what I seen at the end of this game. Even if they lost, they were down by 20. They kept throwing jabs. They stayed in and said, "Hey, we're not bound down to this. We want this win." And if they can keep that energy, and that's what I love about Desmond Bane, is that physicality. If you can bring that, I think this series can go to 6, possibly 7. Both teams are very much talented, but if you can go get you 2 games at home, I think you put Detroit in a hole that they're not ready to get out of.
So that's good stuff there. And I think a lot of pressure on Detroit to kind of, take advantage of the Magic's, I guess, bad situation with Jamal Mosley, all that stuff, all that good jazz right there. All right, let's get this up. But this has been our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in with us. Right now in the second quarter, the Phoenix Suns are up 32-30 on the OKC Thunder. So Phoenix adjusted well. We'll see if they can keep this up. But D-Locke, do you think Phoenix has a shot of hell to win this game tonight?
At first, like I said, I didn't think they do have a shot right now. They are coming out swinging. And they're not relying on the Jalen Green and Devin Booker. Gillespie's playing pretty well. Dylan Brooks is trying to come out and do some things. So we'll see how long this goes. I think SGA has already started out with 11 points and assists, so he's already trying to get cooking. These other guys got to get going. David Williams, based on watching the other guys. But if this game stays close, the Suns definitely trying to stick out and get, a win instead of going down 0-2. They know what's at stake. So that's the big thing that these teams know.
So we'll see what happens in the rest of this game. Actually, OKC went up by 4 as we were talking there. So there's the quick turnaround right there. 7 points for Dylan Brooks thus far. Colin Gillespie in the starting lineup got 7 points as well. Royce O'Neal off the bench thus far, 9 points for him. Like you said, Shay's 11 points for him. And Isaiah Joe, 6 points off the bench for him in a very quick fashion. And all that good jazz. But thank you for tuning in with us on this Wednesday edition of Fast Break here. D-Locke, how can people find you on social media?
Guys can find me at Black-813. Definitely be talking about the Orlando Magic and that close game that they just had. Hopefully game 3 will go a hell of a lot better. Let them know they can find you on the show's page.
You can find show's page at Fast Break at IESR. That's Fast Break at IESR. Do follow me on Twitter /X at Spawn4288. That's Spawn4288. I will be tweeting about the Titans tomorrow. We'll see who they select in the first round of the NFL draft. So if you do follow the NFL, do follow me on there. Do have another page called the Crooks Process. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. I did a video talking about Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel and that whole situation that keep on getting deeper as the weeks go by. All that stuff. So do follow me on those channels for the Crooks Process to get my thoughts on that. And do subscribe to the IE Sports Radio YouTube channel as well. Try to get those numbers up. So do subscribe, hit that bell notification. Every time we go live, you'll catch us when we go live every day. But we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.